Okay, so I've attached the photo of this, I think it's a robin bird. Didn't really say where it was from, but I'm assuming that's a robin. I'm using 100% cotton cold press arch paper. I basically have a sheet. I fold it in half, then fold it in half again, so it's like a 4x6 inch. I'm just gonna grab a number two. I have a 2H pencil, or you can grab a pencil that is, mechanical pencil. Of course, now I can't find my mechanical pencil. And the whole point is to kind of see the pencil lines, mechanical pencil. And we're just going to draw a cute little bird with pencil, and we're going to still show it, and a little branch, and then put some flowers around loosely painted, right? So for his body, you think like, you see this whole shape, except for this little bump right here. It's kind of like a nice half of a circle. So if you try and think of it that way, you can kind of sketch out like the half circle here, but it's slanted, right? I'm just lightly sketching it, and I'll sketch a little bit darker in a second. And there's a little bump. So the little half circle, and then has a little bump for the head. And then the body. And then the back. So here I'm going to go sketch the bump, right? You can see me sketching it. It's getting a little darker. That's the mechanical pencil. This is the other 2H pencil. And here's the beak. So the body, just kind of wiggling that. And it's going to kind of wiggle, scribble the wing. So there's the body. Remember I said it was like almost like a smile, a U, or circle, half circle, right? And then we have a little round part here. That's the head. Scribbling where his little wing can go here. You can slow me down, by the way. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's just kind of a fun scribble, like a studying. If you were studying a bird, you were out in the wild. I might erase some lines, the ones I had initially over here, and some little goofy ones up here. And then I'll put the eye. Right, we're going to paint some of that in, and then here's this little beak. I do want to erase some of this little goofy sketchy lines up here. So we have the wing, and then you see like these little rounded or kind of curved parts of the wing. You can sketch that in, kind of wiggly sketch it, kind of goofily sketch that in, sketch this in. I'm scribbling, and then I'll put his little feet. There we go. Here, and I can put a branch kind of going like this, any which way I want. So the whole point is to scribble the bird, scribble his little feathers. We're not going to make this perfect, and then we're going to just wash in the color. Really kind of sweet. Now you can do same thing with the flowers. So you could have some simple petal flowers here. Have me put like the center and a little flower. I'm doing like a scribble petal like this, right? Could have stamens on the flower right there. I can do a small little 4 or 5 petal in here, a little tiny one down here. And you could add some leaves. Get a little leaf kind of coming here, or a little branch off that, and maybe put some, again, a flower. So we get the circle, wiggle the petals, foreshorten them a little bit, small here. And then you can add the little stamens right there. So it looks like a kind of like a poppy, or it could even be, part of a wonderful dogwood. I wouldn't say cherry blossom. It could be kind of cherry blossom. And then just go like that, little 4 petals, flower. We're drawing it all in, and then we're going to wash it in with color. I want to get rid of all these lines that I didn't like, and keep the ones that I do. Blowing that out of the way. And it'll be kind of a really cool look. I don't want to add any shadow with the pencil, just going to do the pencil itself. And then we're going to wash in the color. And that's kind of it. Okay, so once it's drawn in, we're just going to loosely paint it in with watercolor. So I'm going to take my 10 round Princeton brush. It's Aqua series. We'll get some ultramarine blue deep, loose. And for like the belly, it looks kind of like an orange rustic color. So quinacridone Sienna from Daniel Smith, or even just burnt sienna from somewhere else. And I'm just going to loosely grab my paint here, have them ready to go. It's kind of tilting, so I'm going to fix that. And we're just going to take the brush and we're just going to wash in. Just take your brush, loosely fill in. We're not going to fill the whole thing in. Remember, I get a little bit thicker with the paint, a little bit darker, deeper. A little tail. Just really loose. Don't worry about filling everything in perfectly. It's just sketchy style. And then remember the belly? I'm going to get a little bit burnt sienna, and I'm going to mix that quinacridone sienna in there. Just going to fill that color in a little bit. You can add a little more brown or a little bit of this blue, mix it in, just to tone the color down if it's too orangey for you. Just throw the color in there like that. Mix it in. You see a little bit of grays and browns. So gray, ultramarine blue deep, and burnt sienna. We get that gray tone. Play around with some grays in here. A little bit darker on the tail. And for the beak too. So get a little bit thicker with the paint, mixing up those paints. If it's too wet and watery, you can always just tap it on a paper towel. Just gonna fill in the beak. And the eye, I'll make a little thicker. With the two colors again. I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna leave a little white spot. Again, my eye isn't perfect. Just want to fix this little side part. There we go. Take this darker color. You can kind of play with adding in deeper color on the little wing. Blue out this way. And there's a little bit of gray happening under the belly here and the feathers. So I'll take some clear water to kind of tap around this area and just tap in some gray. Right? And then his little legs. Now they look gray. We can make them gray by adding the color here and then here, like so. It's just a sketchy look, loose. And then the branch. So I'll add some more burnt sienna. I'm mixing this all in here. Get a nice brown. Again, loose, fast. A little branch there. We can add some darker color in a bit if you want to make it thicker, or just take some burnt umber and some Paynes gray. A little bit darker. Play with that. Just tapping a little bit deeper color. Voila! Now for the the flowers, we're gonna go a little bit different. I'm gonna grab some cadmium yellow deep. I can mix it in kind of here so it's not super bright yellow. It's a little bit more muted. And I'll start with the yellow first. I'll leave a little white in the center. And I'm gonna do the little stamens on the outside. Tap, tap, tap. I want to keep the flower. You can make the flowers pink or white. I'm gonna kind of keep them in the white vein and just add some color. And for the little tiny ones, I'll make them a really pretty bluish purple color, or even, so you could use lavender. I have lavender from Holbein, which is pretty. Oh, my colors are getting all muted here. Or just take cobalt or ultramarine blue deep. This is lavender from Holbein. It's almost like a gouache. It's very pretty. Or you could add a little bit of pink with the bright rose and turn that into like a violet. Is ultramarine blue deep. A little pink, so it's purple. Just add that little color and those little 4 dots. If you want to make it purple, you can make it blue, a pale blue. So I have the wonderful color of Verdier blue from Holbein. Here it is. Pretty pale blue. Can use that color for the little 4 or 5 petal flowers. That's really pretty too. I can put another one over here that's not drawn in. You can add to it. Now we're going to use that color and maybe some pinks for the little white flower. So we're going to just add a little bit of blue on the side of the petal. next to the yellow. Same thing here, you can outline it where the pencil mark is, and then kind of tap next to the yellow. We can let that dry. We can add in some other colors. We can add some blush tones. So just move this. So bright rose, some cadmium red light, and a little bit of yellow. Turn it into a blush color. Very pretty. The paint's a little too watery. So we can add a little bit of that color in on top of that, on the flower. You know, white flowers aren't just always white. They have a lot of colors in them. This blush tone is really pretty. We can add that around here somewhere. We can put a flower or two up in here. I'm gonna do a loose, more abstract type flower. Don't forget about some greens. We got the yellow here. We'll add a bit of Prussian blue to this. We'll get some nice bright green. We can make little leaves. And you're just kind of tapping, pushing down. Look how sweet this card is. And literally, how fast was this, right? Why don't you draw it out? Very quickly, might add. You're just kind of tapping in, a little greenery, little flowers, some green stem. Don't always forget to add some darker tone values. So grab some Prussian blue and some burnt umber. You don't always want this light color stuff. Make this a little bit darker green. And tap that around too. Can make little squiggles. Tap that green. Look how pretty and effortless that was. I might go back and add a little bit more of my bird. There we go. And I feel like this value is just kind of dark, light, so I might go back in and add a little bit, some deeper value around his head and his wing here. Same thing with the belly. I can go back and just take the quinacridone Sienna from Daniel Smith and brighten that up a little bit. Isn't that cute? Just really kind of loose and fun. And you can always darken up some of the stuff. You can't go backwards. So you can, but it's not the same. I'm going to darken up the wood, mixing the ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna. Put some wood green lines in here. Really, that's kind of it. And I'll just take the dark blue and tap right in the center. Take some ultramarine blue deep, tap right in the center of a little flower here. So pretty. Isn't that cute? Minimal effort. Yeah, really, that's it. I mean, you want to get a little bit more technical, you can take some burnt umber with a little bit of yellow, go underneath this part of the flower center. Make this pop a little bit. Clean up your brush, grab a little bit of this pale green, put it in the center. Right, and then for the flower itself, we get a little bit darker with that color, kind of going into the flower. There's my blue. Just kind of like right here, where the petals meet the center. Just add a little bit deeper color here. Get my blush tone. Ooh, that's a little brighter. I can mute it. So I can make this one a bit more pink, add some lines. So sweet. Just a little sketchy, cute little bird. If you want to add a little color to it, you can write, you know, whatever you want to write on it. I might want to add a little gray in the background. So I'm just mixing these two colors and get this light gray tone. I can just wash. And again, we're just adding more value to our little birdie too. Just a little wash. Painting around our white flowers. Just kind of really sweet though. That's all you need to do. And you just take a piece of construction paper. You can use black, whatever color you want. And that's kind of it. Now you can change it up a little bit more by adding some really loose flowers on this. So that you saw that way I just did that. Now I might actually go ahead and play with adding just a couple of loose flowers. I'm going to grab my Princeton 8 long round brush. Make sure this is dry before I go ahead, but I'm going to take some blush tones again. So the pink, the yellow. You could just use a bright rose and cadmium yellow deep itself. We could just kind of tap and add a little bit of flower. So just kind of going like that. So we have some serious looking flowers, some more muted, kind of goofy, abstract ones out here. I'm gonna go ahead and play with adding this color out this way. Still very damp over there. Take some of my green, a little thick. We don't want it very watery because remember we have water over here. Just add, while that's drying, thicker paint. It won't move as much. You can have it coming off the side. These are all the fun things you just have fun doing. And I'm gonna grab some brown. Just changing it up. Look at that, it just adds a little something. Now it's kind of blended so much. Go back in the two colors, a little thicker, and it won't move as much. Get some really loose, kind of fun floral happening there. Can scrape a little bit with the credit card if it gets a little crazy. I'm just having fun. That's what it's all about. And you just show the pencil lines. You don't have to keep them, you know, paint everything you see. It's kind of fun just to see the pencil lines. You know, play with this. I might go back in here and just add a little bit more color in my pink. I'll make these more pink than white. Could do that with the other one too. See, I changed my mind. Just gonna fill this in with more blush tone. And then I can get a little bit darker in the center, going outward. Even more darker. Let me change our flower again. Just a little bit sweeter. And if you want even darker, you can add some brown to that pink. Get in there. Get that center a little bit darker. So many ways to play with this. Gonna add a little bit of dark color in here. Just super fun. I always like to have like something coming off the page. It's a little bit more interesting for me. But that's it. Like I said, then you just add your little construction paper. Look at that pretty card. Super quick, super fun, and beautiful at the same time. So I hope this was fun. Just sketch out a bird, sketch out anything, just those, you know, sketch out the flowers, actually paint the flowers, and then just kind of get a little crazy with some abstract flowers on the way. If you're a Patreon member, we get the additional tutorial of the baby bird coming out of the nest right here. Click the link in the description box to join my Patreon. We get all kinds of great stuff over there, weekly exclusives that are not on YouTube, that are about an hour long with the photograph and a traceable. We have a private Facebook group, first dibs and watercolor workshops and retreats, and now soon to becoming a discount code on my online Zoom classes. So lots of perks on Patreon. And you're supporting my free content here on YouTube, which I really appreciate. So Patreon's where you support me if you love my content, if you love coming on here, and you want to, you know, extend your watercolor journey. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.